Enchant keys are out. Explore keys are in. Soon Disney will stop selling Enchant keys and begin selling a new Explore key. Of course, the obvious question is, what's the difference? What's in it for you as the guest? But the question that I would want to ask is why? Why would Disney feel the need to make what is seemingly an unnecessary change? Let's break it down and try to find out. There are 4 magic keys presently. There is the Inspire key, the top key, the Believe key, the former Enchant key, and then the Imagine key. No other changes to the other keys, no changes to Inspire, Believe, or Imagine. They're going to be exactly the same. And for what it's worth, it feels like the Enchant key and the Explorer keys are also almost exactly the same. We'll talk about that in a second. On January 13th, you will no longer be able to buy a Enchant key. Not that you can buy them now. They've been off the market for a little while now. The only keys you can get right now actually are Inspire and Believe. January 13th, you'll no longer be able to buy the Enchant key. You will be able to buy the Explore key. I'm trying to keep these names straight. Those who do have an Enchant key today will be able to continue using that for as long as they are active until they expire. But when their expiration date does come up, you will not be able to renew the Enchant key. You can only renew into one of the higher key keys or the new Explore key. For what it's worth, I would imagine on that January 13th that they would probably start selling the Imagine key also for those who are interested. I'm thinking they're going to open up sales for everything on January 13th. Possible that they would stop selling Believe and Inspire. This is the way they've been doing it lately. They've been selling 2 and not selling the other 2, and then they just go back and forth. That's been the trend of late. We'll see on January 13th. So what is the value of this new key for Magic Key holders? What's in it for you? And it's actually, well, it's a minor switch, really, and that's it. The discount is the same for merchandise and food ordering. No change there. The discount is the same for parking at Toy Story. You get the same deal there. You can also still just make the same 4 reservations. That hasn't changed. We haven't seen a proper reservation calendar yet, or blockout calendar yet. But what they're saying in this notice is that the value for this new key is that they're going to expand the availability of day or weekday reservations, as I understand it, weekday reservations for the summer period. Right now, the Enchant Key has limited access. As a matter of fact, it's just the first 4 days in June, and then all of July is blocked out. And then August is not bad, but it's no weekends in August, and but most of the weekdays are available in August. So I would guess what they're trying to do is make things more available in June, is my guess, or June and July is my guess. Now, they're not just doing this for nothing, and I don't even mean the $25 increase, which, by the way, there is. Enchant keys are presently selling for $9.74. They're going to sell the Explore key for $9.99. That's a $25 increase, which some people are looking at, it's not a lot. That's not even, it's what, 5%? Something like, well, you know what? Let's find out. Not even that. 2.5%. So it's not a big deal in terms of the price increase. It's a very modest increase. I don't even think necessarily that that's the point of this. I'm not even sure if that's the point. We're going to talk about the why. Stay tuned for the why. We're going to get into that. But I don't believe that they're doing this just to collect that $25. There's something else at play. As a matter of fact, let's go ahead and get into that. The first question you might ask is, what's the point of the rebrand? Why not just add the dates, the June or July dates, presumably because we haven't seen a calendar, to the Enchant Key? Why not just say, here's the new Enchant Key, here, or I should say, here's the new dates for the Enchant Key, and just leave it at that? Why go through this change in the brand? But it's a psychological thing, and this is the why. If they simply did that and then charged the $9.99 that they're planning to, people would say, well, this is basically the same pass that I'm just paying more for. But I mean, they're going to say that anyway. You're going to say that next year when they raise prices. We're not getting, every year when they raise the prices, we don't get that question, we're paying more for and not getting anything more. That's as common and as old a story as there's ever been when it comes to Magic Keys or Disneyland tickets. So again, I'm not sure. I mean, yeah, $25 is something they're going to sell. I don't even know how. It's not a lot. Disney doesn't publish these numbers, but the estimation is about 400,000 total Magic Keys. So Enchant, let's just pretend that Enchant is a quarter of that. There's one of 4 passes, so that's 25% of the passes, and that would represent 25% of 400,000. So we'll call it 100,000 times $25. They're going to make $2.5 million if everybody bought one, the same amount of people. That's not going to move the needle on whatever it is that Disney's trying to do this year or any other year in the future. It's just not enough. It's just not enough money to go through all this process. So I feel like that there's perhaps a deeper reason why they're doing this, and why it has to be a rebrand. Because as I mentioned, it seems ridiculous to go through all this to make a brand new key, to close one and start another and create all this confusion if there's really no difference in the key. So it isn't necessarily the benefits, the June benefits, and it isn't necessarily the price, I believe, the real reason. Neither of those are the actual reason why they're doing it. It's the rebrand that is the point. The rebrand is the point. Anytime you create a new product, whatever kind of business you're in, you're doing that in order to draw more attention to that product. Every now and then, Coke will change the logo a little bit, or they'll go New Coke, or they try to create something. People change their logos or their some sort of minor element of the product that they're selling in order to create more energy, in order to create more attention on that brand, right? And there doesn't even need to be a change in the actual product. So why then, if we keep working this process back, why then are they in need of changing the brand? Well, in that sense, I do think that it may relate to the June dates, because we've been saying for years now, for the past couple of years, that summer has been dead. Summer is a dying season. It's just incredible to watch. Pre-COVID, when I first started doing this show 10, 12, 13 years ago, summer was the season. That was like, oh my God, summer's here. All the families are going to show up. All the kids are going to show up. It's the busiest time of the year. And I remember saying, even that long ago, that there's a certain point in the first 2-3 weeks of the summer season was the deadest we'd seen the park all year. And I'm going back 10, 12. I mean, I don't know if I could find the video where I say it, but I've said it. I remember saying it at least 2 or 3 times in a row, 2 or 3 summers in a row. Summer is a dying season at Disneyland. And it's been getting worse, getting worse and worse. And then last year was not great at all. We had a very poor summer at Disneyland as far as I can tell. From my impressions of the crowds and everything, I kept saying this can't be what they want. There's no way that they're happy with this product. There's no way that they're happy with these attendance levels. And I was saying the same thing the year before. So in that sense, yes. But I think that they're trying to, in a general sense, they want to sell, more of the lower grade Magic Keys, not more Inspire keys. They're, that's just, matter of fact, they might rebrand that one later to a higher price point. Watch that. But they're not trying to sell more Inspire. It's normal. They're open for sale, but it's not a push per se. The push is for that Enchant Key. And the way they do that is by creating a little bit more availability in the summer because their Magic Keys they can't go. And so that's one of the reasons why I think people are not renewing, is how difficult it is to get reservations because they're blocked out, or because of the reservation system. So it makes perfect sense that in order to draw attention, you have to make it seem like it's a new thing. And anytime you see as a buyer, as a purchaser, as a consumer, anytime you see something that is new, you think better, right? You think improved. Those 2 words always go together, new and improved. This is the new and improved Enchant Key, the Explorer Key. And it is, I guess, in a sense, because, they are giving you those, presumably, the new summer dates. We don't know what those dates are yet, mind you. Now, by the way, I would expect there to be some kind of trade-off here, and it's not just the $25. There is going to be a trade-off there for somewhere. I'm not sure what it is yet, but it's certainly not. They're not just going to give us this. They're not just going to give us value. I mean, it'd be great. Hooray for Disney if they did do that. But I just, knowing them and how any business really, not just Disney, but they never give anything away for free. They've been, charging us for things that used to be free. So why are they going to, that would be a complete twist, a complete departure from normal operating procedures for the past, 4 or 5 years or whatever, or longer. So that's the reason why I think it is. I think they want to sell more. Obviously, they want to sell more Enchant Keys or more Magic Keys to that specific consumer. That specific consumer they want, that is their ideal consumer. And they want to try to encourage people to come into the summer when they're not, when they haven't been coming. But in general, the rebrand is to already put more focus, more attention on the Magic Key program in order to create more energy and more excitement. If they were to just add these dates to the Enchant Key, you wouldn't get that same change in energy. If they were to just say, would people even notice? Would they even notice? Probably not. They probably wouldn't even notice. Even if they made an announcement, we're adding more dates to the Enchant Key, you might not get the same amount of attention as if you did, or if you had rebranded it to the Explore Key. Stay tuned for more, because when we get that calendar, we'll start making comparisons and see what days we're losing and what days we're getting. Although, like I said, the June and July calendars are pretty bare. There's just 4 days out of those 2 months that are available to Enchant Key holders today. But we'll make that comparison, again, starting January 13th. Look for this new key on January 13th. Thanks for watching, everybody. We love you. Be safe out there. Be kind to one another. Fresh Baked.